Hello and welcome to Easy Maths. This is going to be the first lesson in my series of lessons on the topic of sequences and series. And just a brief description of how we're going to tackle the topic. In this first lesson, we're going to be looking at the definition of what a sequence or a series is. However, the first half of the lessons will be dedicated to arithmetic sequence, in which case we're going to be looking at the nth term, sum of terms, and AP series. And the other half will be dedicated to geometric sequence, in which case we're going to look at the nth term, sum of terms, and GP series. Let's turn now to definition as we begin our series. Now, a sequence refers to numbers arranged in a definite or specific rule. For example, we can have these numbers here, which are arranged according to some specific rule or definite rule, or these others here, or these others here. You could be already guessing how we're getting the next term. However, in the first case, we are adding the next odd number to obtain the next number. For example, 2 and if you get 2 plus 3, you get 5. And from 5, I add 5, which is the next odd number after 3 to get 10. Then from 10, I'll add the next odd number from 5. That is, I add 7 to get 17. That means to get the next number, I will need to add 9. In the second case, we are subtracting 6. 21 minus 6 is 15. Minus 6 is 9. Minus 6 is 3. And we minus or subtract 6 to get the next number. In that case here, we're multiplying the numbers by 2. Like we have half times 2 is 1, times 2 is 2. And so we need to multiply by 2 to get the next number. Having that said, we can try out an exercise. Now we're told write down the next 3 terms whose nth term is given by the following. We have questions A, B, and C. And so let's attempt the 3 questions. Now question A, we're given 2n. How do we get the next 3 terms? Now the first thing is that we need to notice that the first term will be obtained when n is 1. So when n is 1, I get the first term. So I'm going to have 2 times 1, which gives us 2. And that's the first term in that sequence. The second term will be when n is 2, and therefore I'm going to have 2 times 2, which is 4. That means, therefore, that term will be when n is 3. That's going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. And so I have the first 3 terms in that particular sequence. Again, question B, we have n squared plus 1 all over 2. The first term will be when n is 1, and therefore I'm going to have 1 squared plus 1 all over 2, which is 1. Again, the second term will be obtained when n is 2, where we have 2 squared plus 1 all over 2, and that is 5 over 2, which is 2.5. The third term will be when n is 3, and therefore we have 3 squared plus 1 all over 2. The answer is 5. And lastly, going to question C, we have 2n plus 1. To get the first term, that is going to be obtained when n is 1, and therefore we're going to have 2 squared plus 1, 2 raised to the power 1 plus 1, which is 3. And the second term will be obtained when n is 2, and therefore we have 2 squared plus 1, which is 5. And lastly, we have that term when n is 3, which is going to be obtained by 2 cubed plus 1, which is 9. 2 cubed plus 1, which is 9. And that brings me to the end of that first lesson on my series of lessons on the topic of sequences series. Kindly like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate your support. Thank you.